Okay, now recording is live. Not that I actually post these recordings, but I would like to keep them just in case they turn out to be valuable later. And yeah, pioneering is not easy for sure. Let me take a look at this document here. Alessio, I used to be a sailor in the United States Navy, and the reason they refer to ships as like in the feminine, and they also used to say that women on ships were bad luck, is because they want all sailors to consider the ship to be their wife, and if there were women on board, what happens is the ship doesn't get as much attention shown to it. Does that make sense? Because the sailors start getting distracted by the women. And so basically the mythology, or should I say the superstition around this, is that ships are feminine because they get jealous of you showing attention to other women, and they start throwing fits when you do that. So ships would end up breaking, right? Like, because the sailors weren't maintaining them, right? They weren't properly taking care of them. So whenever women were on board, it would mean that the ship would be breaking more often, and like things would be malfunctioning, and there would be more problems because the sailors would not be paying attention to their girl. So there you go. Now you know a little bit about that backstory. And let me go down here. Yeah, and that's where that I don't know, that idiom, that cultural meme. I guess it's a meme. It really is a meme, but that's where that meme comes from, about referring to a ship as a woman and calling her she, and then also thinking of women on ships as bad luck. That is all where that comes from. There's darker shit there as well, but I'm not going to get into that. Okay, so the point being here is you guys have seen all these pages a bunch of times. I am going to not talk about yield right now, but something that can be talked about is... Okay, to mention two major ones. All right, so you should now perform an analysis of several different factors before attempting to escape. Let's do a quick repetition of our obnoxious green warning phrases first. I'm assuming you guys have read this document. Test everything with $5. Fantastic, can't stress it enough. Contextually, it is worth mentioning that there are different types of risks associated with Web3. Not all risks are the same way or nor categorized the same way. So to mention two major ones, you have financial risk and you have security risk. Now, hilariously, when people like investors, like DeFi investors, are analyzing risk, they really bundle security risk as another financial risk. Does that make sense? So like you guys, when you guys are exposing yourselves to PiraSwap and you know that it's not audited, you guys in your head, you just think of this loss as the same. Does that make sense? Like, so the price of the coin going down, and also the cost. How about this? The cost of the coin going down in price, and the cost of an exploit vector. So like these two risks are both analyzed in like a Web3 investor or anybody who's playing at this level of DeFi. They're analyzed the same way. And any minute, yeah, okay, there my Discord's working now. These are analyzed the same way, which is interesting because they're not the exact same. Does that make sense? When the cost of a price going down, this is a trade you make. Does that make sense? But an exploit vector means you got robbed. Do you guys get what I'm saying? So one of these is trade, the other one is theft. And these two risks are not the same thing. In fact, one gigantic difference between them can be highlighted. Financial risks are risks that a user has consented to and generally come from exposure to things like market behavior, which is historically an aggregation of human behavior, right? Security risks are risks that a user has not consented to and generally come from individual bad actors engaging in theft or other asymmetrical exploitations, okay? So trade and theft are not the same thing. In a trade, both parties consent. In a theft, only one party consents, okay? This should be a basic concept as far as ethics goes. Financial risk is a risk that participants consent to, and security risk is a risk that participant has not consented to. Often security risks get interpreted as if they're a financial risk, but it's still a different risk, okay? So while the IWV is in beta, it should be treated as if both risks apply to it, but separately. Does this make sense to you guys? So like, I want you guys to understand, as you guys are aware, you have a real risk of smoldering, right? You have a risk of usurping, right? These are real risks. But that is not the same thing as if like somebody hacked the Incantation Witch Vault to mint a bunch of Pyre Phantom to do a third-party rug pull on the liquidity. Does that make sense? Like that would be, that's a way different risk. Does that make sense? Because all of those risks are part of the game, as it were. But that risk is cheating at the game. Does that make sense to you guys? So the IWV is not currently audited, and this is beta test. Okay, it's a goal that the security risk should not be part of the equation, and therefore the IWV is an audit later on. Does that make sense? So later on, this will be audited, and therefore you guys can perhaps discount the security risk, but operationally, the IWV carries with it unique and variegated financial risks, that those are the risks that should be focused on as far as strategic planning goes. But do not necessarily dismiss the potential security risk either way. Remember the green phrase? Here is a screenshot of a danger label present on the UI. This label will always be present even after smart contracts get audited and upgraded because of the financial risks, not the security risks. Okay. Secondly, the risks associated with the IWV are complex enough to warrant their own documentation, and you guys have seen that, so they will not be mentioned here. However, you are encouraged to pursue the reading of said documentation. And okay, ready to stake, blah blah blah. Anyway, this is fucking this is basic like spoon feeding instructions. Here's a great meme. I love that meme, and this concludes the section. But I'm glad I got to talk to you guys about those risks. And as far as these people right here goes, these people, they either flogged in an amount, or perhaps I want you guys to know these might have been smolderings from smaller positions, like they just got smoldered into like a weird decimal place. When we first did this for the first day or two, the front end was not adequately communicating decimal places to the back end. So some people like had some dust get stuck. Does that make sense? So these could be from flogging, or these could be from dust getting stuck. But anyway, as you guys are aware, it now costs more in Phantom to unstake them than it is to just like keep them in. And what's good about this being in here is that the Incantation Witch Vault will never show up with like a NAN. Does that make sense? Like NAN %. Do you guys know what NAN means there? Not a number. So like if you divide by 0 and you have a percentage point that you're trying to derive, like EPR, DPR, APR, like if you have like a completely 0 in there, it fucks up the whole thing. So you always need to have like some sort of dust staked in there. So I have no idea who the fuck these people are, but some of them might be the devs. That makes sense. There would be. And that's what it's all about. So we've got a good amount staked today. And we're going to continue using general chat, by the way, for communication. So let me make sure that you guys aren't talking in the other one. But yeah, fantastic. So the reason being is because people like seeing activity in the general chat for them to think that, like I'll tell you this. So as you guys are aware here in the audience, let me actually take a look at who's in the audience. Yeah, okay. So like half of you are from the fucking circus anyway. So investors in DeFi, they are not used to organizations like the circus. Does that make sense? So they don't like seeing that half the people in chat are staff, because they would rather feel safety, and they analyze this as risk. They feel this as if they would be more safe in the company of a greater amount of investors, not a greater amount of staff. Does that make sense? And so if your name is not purple, but you're in the circus, like I'm not going to make your name purple. I did Dr. Mac the other day, but that's probably the last one I'm going to do. Because imagine like when you go to a server that's fucking dead and people are asking questions, and all it is like staff telling you that it's fine. Does that make sense? Do you guys see that shit? Like I know we do it ourselves, especially with all the delays that it took, but do you guys agree that that doesn't like continue to exactly, Alessio. It doesn't continue to like really smooth people's feathers. Does that make sense? It just makes it seem like, oh, this is a fucking apologist that's getting hired to like deal with me, right? This is like a customer service agent. Does that make sense? So like, of course they're upbeat and optimistic. Does that make sense? So like that is not like what it's going to take to effectively. That is not what it takes to actually convince people to consider analyzing it for investment. Does that make sense? Like from the way that the DeFi, exactly, Charlotte, right? Like if you go to other projects where you know they're like abandoned and you still see like there's one mod or two that's just like shilling it to you because he kind of needs people to buy in so he can exit. Does that make sense? It sounds fucking gross. And granted, this project is economically different than everything else in Web3, but people are not used to understanding that or even identifying that. So they just look for stuff they understand and they look at human behavior. And yeah, exactly. Oh yeah, the meme investing, right? The Wall Street bets, right? Wall Street bets, the GameStop meme investing. Like they literally that whole concept of ape together strong, right? Ape together strong, ape follow ape. That's literally that fucking meme, right? Right? Ape follow ape. This is like a fucking, just like a common fucking, yeah. They're literally acknowledging, they're like, hey, I'm literally just going to operate based on tribalistic, arguably primitive social safety risk assessments. Does that make sense? Like they're admitting, I actually do not know what I'm fucking doing, but I know that other people are doing it. Therefore, I will in fact take risk exposure here. Does that make sense? This is also how penguins judge the safety of waters when they leave icebergs. Does that make sense to you guys? Like penguins will take a risk on swimming from one iceberg to another. Arguably, you know, during this trip, they could get eaten by polar bears and sharks and whales and shit like that. But they know that if they all go at the same time, if they all go at the same fucking time, that's where the risk is mitigated. And this is because there's no fundamentals in Web3. Do you guys get what I'm saying? Like, which is kind of stupid because most things in Web3 are very PvP, and they're not expressively PvP. So what's interesting is that like they'll get into a position based on seeing other green candles because they're like, oh, I know other people bought in. It's like, well, and they're just trying to like race. They're trying to be second in line. Like it's really fucking weird behavior. But like I know I want to be, you know, maybe being first in line. I'm not smart enough to be that, but I could be second in line, and that's better, right? And like it's weird that human behavior is this way, but it's done for evolutionary reasons. And what I mean to say is, in order to just inspire a degree of safety, confidence, and or community, which by the way, community has a real value. People need to see that they're not just being given lip service by people who are wearing name tags. Does that make sense to you guys? And it's not the point, like, the fact that now, at the same time, a server where there is no staff at all even inspires less confidence. Does that make sense to you guys? A server where there's even less, like zero staff, like, oh, hey, you know, nobody responds here. That gets even less confidence. But it's sort of like a chain reaction when it comes to social proof as well. So you want to see like leadership figures, and then you want to see other like people who are in fact taking a risk on them, and that in fact increases people's risk appetite exponentially because they see, oh, other people are taking risk, and therefore I can take a risk as well. And what's best about this is that is a risk in a position that they can enter and exit every single fucking epoch. And I don't know why I'm talking about this today, but that is something I've been focusing on lately. And anyway, let's take a look at how much we actually have here. Okay, we got 59 Pyre Phantom. Did somebody bait this? Was this you, Fexer? Who was in here today? Yeah, did somebody send Pyre Phantom over to this contract today? This epoch? You did two? Okay. But literally only two? How much did you guys send? I guess I could look, but I'm actually not that fucking... Let's see, internal transactions. Actually, you know what? It wouldn't even show transactions here because it's not one of the things it would check. Oh, you sent 50. Okay, so you're fucking... So Electronic is definitely front-loading the shit out of it. Well, I'm not going to let you do all of that. Here, I'll front-load it as well. Because, by the way, I do appreciate that you are willing to bait it. but it should be my responsibility to, I guess you could say, put some juice in the cup, as it were. And again, because of the whole herd mentality, oh, you know what, Electronic, by the way, if it makes you feel better, I'm sending it the money from mead taxes. So it's really like I'm just sending it your money anyway. Does that make sense? Well done. Do I have the drum? Hang on. There's your joke for the day. Yeah, I'm just sending it mead tax money, so it's really basically your money anyway, right? But anyway, the same way it matters. What I'm going to say here. The same thing will definitely happen on the price charts. Does that make sense? So the fact of the matter is, we're looking at these price charts right now. You guys can see now it's 0.1496, not a terrible fucking TWAP, and you guys can see this again. I think I showed you guys that if you go to 1 minute, you can actually see the fucking the velvet rope, as it were. These are in fact the fucking dips and the fucking rallies, and this one I think was like, this was between 12 and 18. This one's a little bit smaller here, but you can still see that this is actually arguably another cup. Then here it rallies higher, then here it crashes lower. Does that make sense to you guys? But these right here, this is the velvet rope pattern, which you guys have heard me talk about, maybe. But this will commonly be this pattern that you see in the behavior because that is the risk profile of the coin. It's not always going to take the exact same shape, but that's why if you heard me refer to... let me just go all the way down and just hit all these velvet ropes up. This one, and this one. Here, there you go. Here, I'm just going to give you guys a bunch of fucking images. So this one is actually a velvet rope generated by Midjourney, and I was like, oh, you know what? If I'm going to use that velvet rope image, I should generate my own velvet rope. Anyway, Midjourney was not exactly like... I mean, it's a nice looking one, but I don't think it makes for a good diagram. The one right there is showing you 3 of them, and of course the epochs themselves are the posts, and A, B, C, and D, and E, that is great for kind of like describing a sequence of time. Now the one with the purple squiggle on it, that is a speculative left shift. So this is another shape you can see where arguably it'll end up being like people will end up over speculating it to the point that other people who know how to play the game a little bit better, they will in fact exit, an hour before the incantation because it's like, you know what, this is probably peak, so I'll just exit here, and then you'll see that the incantation will actually not fire at a peak. So that is also something that can happen, and this one right here, the one with, are we gonna make it today? I was able to upload videos. Can you guys hear me? Oh, you can hear me. Okay. Well, that's great because my Discord app on my computer has crashed. So what I'll do is I'll just I will restart Discord 1 moment. Maybe the general chat thing is not going to work, but I think it will. Oh, no, it works now. Okay, never mind. I don't need to restart Discord. I just need to threaten to restart it, and then that's when they get that's when it starts behaving. Okay, I don't need to restart Discord. Anyway, the purple one, the one here, the one with the purple speculative left shift, you will not likely see too much of it below 0.80 TWAP, but you can see it a little bit because it sort of requires Pyre Phantom to be shielded. Does that make sense? So when Pyre Phantom is in fact below the price of the peg coins, that is shielded, right? So when is Pyre Phantom shielded, right? When meeting is not profitable, or 2, when meeting is not available. Does that make sense? Like, does that make sense to you guys? So above 0.8, it is shielded because it's not available. Meeting is like the peg coins will not be able to meet above 0.8. But when meeting is not profitable, that's also when you consider it shielded. And it's when it's shielded that's when you'll see people buy it instead of meet for it. As you guys saw me do literally 30 minutes ago, I meted for it this time because I was able to actually do that with 2 ohm, and arguably I was making some sort of profit. Maybe not now, but at the time I meted, it was in fact profitable to do so. So I will in fact, looks like we have a little bit more stakers. People are staking in here, staking in a little bit early, but hey, to each their own. What I will do now is I will use my other computer to bait the incantation. No, I don't do that one. Okay, here we can do. This is fine. Yeah, we'll do it like this. Leaving every time like 20 hours and cancel the next round. Oh, believe it or not, Electronic, that is actually how it works, but on the fee side. So believe it or not, we actually only take 75% of the fees and then move that into the incantation. So that's what happens directly upstream. So the incantation is 75% of the fees. So it ends up like always using, whatever the whole pile is. It's always approaching like a greater use of the whole pile, but it never gets to 0. The reason being is those LPs getting broken down to 0 was causing the Transpire Epoch to fail. That's what was causing the button to fail in the past. So now that's exactly what we do. So so that is happening above. That is happening upstream, but I'm gonna. More on that later. Anyway, so okay, so let me see what I have here. Okay, so I do have a whole bunch of Pyrophanum. Let's see what I got here. Here's what I'll do. I'm gonna fucking make it crazy as shit. We'll just make it crazy as shit, and I'm gonna see some actual. I'm gonna send a shit ton, okay? I'm gonna send an absolute shit ton to the fucking address. I'm gonna send 500, okay? 521. Any minute now. Oh, look at that. EPR has now drastically gone up. Although my MetaMask does still not see that yet. Did somebody else send some? Did somebody else just do that? Oh, there it is. Okay. Now, let me try flogging. EPR is now 70%. Let's try putting in 0.0001. Oh my god. I'm gonna make encrypt like last longer than a fucking 15 minutes. Alright, flogging transaction. Maybe this will jump again. No, actually, that would be the exact amount, right amount, I think. Let's actually see how much is in there. 59 still. Let me try to refresh this. 581. Okay. Okay, that looks like correct. That looks correct. Because 581 would arguably be probably 3/4 of this number here. I don't need to really fucking unclaim. But that is interesting to do. I'll decline that one. Okay, so. Do you guys have any questions? Yeah, do you guys have any questions? Sorry, I'm answering DMs. No questions. None of you guys have any questions. Well, that's arguably believable because I'm pretty sure all 9 of you have been to at least 3 of these now. So, well, I'm definitely going to stake. I'm going to play for this. Why the fuck not? Let's look at charts, shall we? We have 62 cents here. Maybe a little bit more sell pressure. What do we have here? 2 ohm. 2 ohm wrap phantom. I'll look at all of that liquidity. Wouldn't it be a shame? Wow. This was where it was on the 23rd of January. That looks like it's fucking screaming in price. Like, maybe I should zoom out or something. Yeah. Well, I guess, yeah, it wasn't. This is where it was in December, right? So in December, it was actually higher. But, well, yeah, so December 24th was when we unleashed Metatrage. So, arguably speaking, we are now, I guess, what, 80% recovered to the amount of hype that we had from Metatrage. I wonder if people will start figuring that out then. There you go. If you guys want to know, look at Phantom. Oh, is that what the thing is? Let me check. Phantom. Indeed. Oh, Phantom to 2 ohm or Phantom like in general? No, Clantonso once every epoch. It happens on the epoch's transpiration. Oh, 2 ohm in Phantom, not USD. I see. Gotcha. Okay, checking it out up here. Oh yeah, even higher. Oh, you're right. So we're actually higher than we were in December. We're fucking higher than we were in December. Interesting. And you're right. We should be checking it against fucking Phantom and not USD. But yeah, okay. There you guys know. Literally since the 23rd of January, people have they've been buying a shit ton. And this is the 1 minute chart, which is fucking crazy. Let's look at 15 minutes, but it's mostly the same shape. Okay, interesting. If we change it to the U.S. dollar, though, that does mean, I guess. The thing is, Fexer, the fucking degen, they think in dollars. So if this was worth 7 pennies before, they're gonna think of it as like that is the actual progress. Does that make sense? But yeah, Clinton. So did you hear me? Did you hear my answer? Yeah. Once per epoch, it happens with the button. So when you click transpire epoch, that is also the transaction that causes the decay. And to be clear again, the decay itself is not what costs you dollar value. Oh, yeah, they do for sure, Fexer. But again, you guys do just happen to be the earlier ones watching this. Most of the time, you got to understand, people don't know what to watch. Like, let's just look at fucking CoinGecko or CoinMarketCap, right? Shit, we can just look at Dex Screener. Let's just look at Dex Screener. We don't even look at that fucking things. If you were to just look at Dex Screener, like this is Dex Screener by itself, and we look at trending, let's look at trending in 5 minutes, right? This is the type of shit that people like they go googly over it and they're like, I don't know what this is. Does that make sense? Like how this is one of 6. This is 100 pairs of 66,000 that it's just the 5-minute trending list. Does that make sense? If we showed 24-hour trending list, it's still 66,000, I guess. But the point being, in a single day, there's 66,000 pairs trending. Does that make sense? If you were to look at we got 7 minutes, by the way. Well, anyway, if you were to look at CoinGecko or some shit like this, people don't know how to differentiate between like what to look at and what not to look at, because at this level of abstraction, it's fucking mind-numbing. Does that make sense? Wow, immutable X is this fucking high? Wow, that's crazy. I would not have expected it, but I guess, yeah. Yeah, so just going on this list, if you were a complete fucking newbie, you would just be like, I don't know why I should invest in this or why I shouldn't. And for that decision, you're met with like, I don't know, 10 to 30 pages of technical documentation that you probably don't fucking understand. And you also don't understand why the price of these things would go up or down, because you don't think of yourself as actual users of them. You're just trying to fucking buy and then sell it later. Like you're just trying to do that. So that's how people get brought in. And I don't even consider those people to be crypto adopters, by the way. Like if you get brought into Web3 from a meme coin, I still don't think you're an adopter. I think when you start using this shit to solve your problems, that's when you're a real adopter. More on that later. But that'll be in a later phase of PyroSwap. But yeah, like this would be mind-numbing. I haven't done the research on all 100 of these because that's fucking crazy, right? Like you've heard of a bunch, right? But oh, here's Phantom. Look there. But I've heard of Flare as well before. Yeah, but like, how would you keep it track? Like, how would you keep track of all this? Ordi is literally just the Bitcoin ordinal coin that somehow ended up with a market cap. And believe it or not, it made it into the top 100. How crazy is that? People don't know what success is and what failure is in crypto, and that's how you end up with people doing things like Avascriptions for 2 fucking weeks, where they just caused the price of gas on Avalanche to be through the fucking roof. Anyway, you guys who are here with me today right now, you can't really expect that like people would eventually like, oh hey, who you should be listening to is the fucking Sunny Ridge Circus. Who you guys should be doing this? Oh yeah, I bet. 3.5 minutes. Time is running out. I was gonna try to be a little bit more. I'm gonna describe it. Yeah, that does look pretty nice actually. And there is meetable gap. Damn, so that's fucking cool. So we're higher in TWAP now than we were in fucking December. And you know, let me look at older 2-ohm price, like before the DEX. Let's look at 2-ohm on fucking Spooky. What? What? Oh, okay. This is just like a longer period of time. Never mind. Never mind. Okay, I thought this was December 24th. Okay, that looks about the same. That is still US dollar price, but you're correct that even on Spooky, or maybe I don't know what the fuck I'm talking about, but let's see. Let's scroll back again. Yeah, no, even on Spooky, it's showing us to be higher in TWAP. So this is also way more of an aggressive climb on Spooky. Look at that. Like, that looks like it's fucking mooning on Spooky. Holy shit. Goodness gracious. Well, again, it's only a matter of time until people just start looking at this. And again, you actually don't need, I don't want you guys to think that you need more people to show up in order to make money doing this. Does that make sense? Arguably, right now, if we're baiting the incantation, that might make it hard to understand. But yeah, like I'm also okay with understanding that if you look at this chart, let's see if I open up that document. Where is it? If I open up the document, I guess it was beta testing handbook. Oh shit, we're out of time. We're out of time. How much time? 1:32. Okay. All right. Everybody gasp. One minute. Yeah, let's go. Let's go. Let's go. You know what's interesting? That I feel like, technically speaking, I had 108 before. So whenever I jumped back into 2 ohm, at some point, Pyro Phantom started to outperform it. So now I probably have less quantity, but I have a higher price. Does that make sense? Like the price of it's gone up, so now I have 105. I had 108 before, but the price of it's gone up. Does that make sense? So always interesting to keep in mind those differentials and not differentials. Understand that there's you have quantity value and then you have price value. Come on, come on, come on. Okay, I'm just gonna click it like a madman and see if it fucking pops up. Oh, of course, there we go. Pending. Does it show you on encrypt? Let's see. It doesn't really show you what these things are, though. That's what I would, if I were to complain about this, I wouldn't know if this is like a contract interaction or a send or a stake. It just gives you these things. Let's just start hitting refresh. Fuck it, we can't risk it. Get the fuck out. Get the fuck out. Get out. Get out. Don't mind if I do, baby. Yeah, let's just swap the Phantom. Fuck it. Oh my god. Oh my god. What was that? What was that? Let's try it again. One more time. Make it happen. Price updated. Oh my goodness. Oh my goodness. Oh my goodness. I can't wait to have those max swap peripherals fucking running. There we go. 18.49 Phantom. There you go. I just fucking exited the Phantom. How about that, you guys? $16 on 77. Is that what it literally showed? Damn, what are you guys doing in there? There's only 0.2 EPR. Unstake. What are you guys doing? What are you guys doing? Oh, you got 16 return on 77 placed in. Yeah, that makes sense. Yeah, that sounds about right. That's proportional to what I got. There you go. Usurping. Oh, I see. Well done, Electronic. If you're gonna, hey, Electronic, if you're gonna usurp, you should at least sell some, by the way. Yeah, definitely sell some. Like, if you're gonna usurp, do actually contribute to transaction volume. I know that you don't want to sell, but go ahead and sell. Yeah, like it'll be okay. I hope you now understand that it'll be okay. You're watching me as the fucking designer of it sell almost every time. I just sold the Phantom, which is not even my coin, right? So you can sell whatever you want. I like this math. I like seeing a large amount here in the ultimate moment. So this is like the correct numbers down here. This is kind of the curve that I designed for. 100 to 144, very nice. Did you usurp once, Vexer? Did you go twice? Yeah, you can't hear me? Oh wow, look at that. Yeah, you guys can hear me, right? Check. Yeah, okay. They can